What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Prox here, bringing you guys a brand new video today. We're going to be doing another XDEFIANT video, this time giving my opinion on all the maps and breaking it down into a tier list. If you guys want to see more content like this, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Shows me that I'm on the right track for the content you guys want to see. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the first map, that's going to be Arena. Honestly, this map is absolutely incredible. It's a ton of fun. It reminds me of Shipment or Nuketown from the Call of Duty series because it's one of those tight-knit maps. You know, it has really fast-paced flow and has a lot of character to it. And so I like to call this the Shipment of XDEFIANT. Aside from that, love the fun setting that it's inside this arena. Tons of good color and flow. And it's a chaotic flow that feels really good. Honestly, most weapons can be viable, I would say, aside from sniper rifles, unless you're some member of FaZe Clan. Now, Attica Heights is up next, and honestly, I'm going to have to put it in A tier. I think this map is extremely fun, but it has a lot of really frustrating moments. If you're playing as much as I play, you start to really see where those frustrating moments lie. Now, I will say there are some really good flank routes and vertical play opportunities that can kind of add diversity to the gameplay, but I'm not a huge fan of some of the lanes being very open. A great example of that is in the middle. There is a lot of just balconies that people can see off to down into middle B or up top, and it just allows snipers to really kind of, you know, have some really great moments, but it's just frustrating as someone that is going against snipers currently in the current meta, and they're extremely frustrated to deal with, so giving them even more opportunities in this kind of map can be frustrating. But nonetheless, it's a super fun map. It does have its moments. I'm clicking on it a lot of the time. It just unfortunately doesn't hit that S tier for me because of some of the lanes and how they flow. Next up is Dumbo, and honestly, I'm going to put Dumbo in A tier as well. I absolutely love this setting, and the color palette is absolutely beautiful. I love the graffiti artwork. I love snow maps, so it's really cool there. This fact that it's set in the Division universe and in New York is really cool as well. It does encourage a lot of different play styles, so, you know, the middle or the center area does allow for shotguns and SMGs, lots of buildings where they can excel that as well, but then you have long range for ARs, marksman rifles, and sniper rifles, so it flows really well, and all the modes are really fun. However, what's holding it back from being S tier for me has to be the spawns. The spawns are extremely poor on this map and extremely inconsistent, and I can kind of base that on it being basically a square. So for that reason, it's going to be an A tier. If they fix these spawns, I will absolutely relocate it to S tier. Now, Echelon HQ, this is a really interesting one. I'm going to put it in S tier simply because the setting is extremely invigorating. I love playing on these smaller, tight-knit maps, and the fact that it's like an HQ that's been broken into has a really cool design. I feel like the flow is extremely fun. It's a CQB heavy map with SMGs and shotguns dominating. However, there are some lanes that do open up for AR play, as well as some vertical areas that can kind of give you the jump. I also think that it's one of the more fun maps to play on Occupy. I really love this game mode, and I feel like it excels on this map with how the rotations flow and the defensive positionings of each site. So overall, a really fun map. I click on it 9 out of 10 times I see it. It's S tier for me. Now we're getting into the first map I really do not like, and that's being Emporium. You know, I absolutely really wanted to like this map, but the more I play it, the more frustrated I get. I honestly think that it's just one long hallway, which is extremely frustrating for me. The spawns are awful, spawn trapping is easy as well, and the objective game modes are just generally unfun to play. Now, the biggest things I'd also say is ability spam is quite prevalent in this map, especially top mid, where it just gets really hectic, really hard to break choke points, and really hard to hold sometimes. So for that reason, I'm just going to put it in D tier. I do not like this map. I try to avoid it for the most part. Can I have fun on it? Sure. But overall, the spawns, the spawn trapping issues, the overuse of grenades and util usage just can make it extremely frustrating, and it doesn't help that it's just one long hallway. Now, Liberty is going to go in C tier for me. It has a super dope concept. I love the fact that it's a broken Statue of Liberty. There's a shipwreck on the map. The visuals are absolutely beautiful. But I feel like it's really held back by the flow in every single game mode but domination. I don't really like certain lanes, especially the ship lane, as well as mid lane. I'm just not a total big fan of it. I do think there's a lot of wasted space towards the back of the spawns. And that could help with the flow because the spawns really aren't too awful on this map, but I just feel like there's a lot of wasted space that doesn't see a lot of action, and I just can't really attach myself with the map. I will play it. I do have a good time. It's way better than Emporium, but overall, just not really a map that I vibe with. Now, getting up into Mayday. This map, to me, actually has a pretty nice flow. I was not expecting that when I played it for the first time at launch, but I think it has a good flow. I think it has nice flank routes. The center of the plane is really intense and a ton of fun to have gunfights in. It is a sniper-heavy map, which can hold you back depending on kind of where your perspective is on that. But honestly, it doesn't really flow too well for Hotshot or Occupy, and so for those reasons, I can't really put it any higher. I do think the visuals are great. I think it's a cool concept, but not one of the maps that I'm like, hey, this map is absolutely amazing. I need to play it. So for that reason, it's going to go in B tier. Now, we are getting into a map I absolutely despise, and that's Meltdown. Horrible escort map. Has really bad spawn traps in the first section, several other unfun choke points. It has boring visuals and an overall lackluster design. I'm not a big fan of zone control or escort in this game, which might be an unpopular opinion, but when I do play it, that is the map I avoid, like, for the most part. It's pretty much a back out. I really don't like the spawn point, choke point in the first section. Horrible. And it's, I don't know, it just doesn't have the flow that I'm looking for. And for those reasons, it's going to be an F. Sorry, chat. Now for the polar opposite for Escort is going to be Midway. This is going to be my only A-tier map for linear game modes. I love the setting that it's set in this theme park, and the visuals are extremely interesting. I think it has a really good flow to it, and each section offers different play styles. Now, spawn trapping is much harder with the cover that is provided. The reason why I can't really put it in S tier is for the sake that I'm just not an escort or zone control fan. Maybe maps will come down the line that really invigorate me, but by far this is the best one they have on display. It's a ton of fun, great visuals, and I have a good time playing it. The next S tier is on the way, and that's going to be Nudleplex. I think this map is fantastic. It flows extremely well. I love playing Domination and Occupy on this map, though Domination I'm going to edge out just because there are some Occupy areas that don't really work super well, like each spawn that you start off in. Those are Occupy zones, and there's not a lot of cover. It's really open, and I think it could use a bit more cover for the side that's defending the point. Now, I will have to speak on this again. It has tons of character, with it being this like Apple HQS setting. It just screams colorful, it screams fun and innovative, but and I love the 3-lane design here. You know, it encourages diversity in gunplay. SMGs are great for indoors. ARs and snipers excel in mid-range. And it just flows so well. I love this map. Now getting to probably my favorite map on this list. Another S tier, another banger. And that's Pueblito. And I hope I said that right. But this reminds me of Black Ops 2's Slums. The color palette, the design of the map, it just screams BO2 Slums. And I love that. It's great for every single game mode that's on display. It's fun action in the center of the map, great flank routes on the outside, Occupy is a great time, as well as Domination. Also, just to mention, this map isn't heavily stylized like some of the other maps, which is a nice change of pace. I do like the color palette, it's very easy to see enemies, and it's just overall a very fun map, my favorite map by far on the selection. Now, this is where I think I'm going to start turning heads, and I'm going to get some upsetting comments, and I really don't care, I'm just going to spitball it right now. Showtime is a B tier map for me. Honestly, it's a very cool concept. Reminds me a lot of Black Ops 2's remake of Firing Range. I love the concept, don't get me wrong there. But the flow of this map is very inconsistent. Spawns are not good at all. And to me, there's too much verticality. There's a lot of angles you can get shot from, which for me kind of takes away some of the fun. There's a lot more unpredictability. And some people may like that. I just like the 3-lane design concept where it's very simple, kind of straightforward. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like complexities. Verticality is fine, but there's so many angles to get shot from, so many flank routes, and it can get kind of convoluted sometimes and a little bit hectic, but chaotic, hectic, bad, in my opinion. But still a fun map. I still play it whenever it pops up in rotation. It's not going to be my first pick. It's not going to be my second pick, but it is definitely still a map I enjoy. Possibly going to upset another group of people, and that's going to be for the map Times Square. It's an F tier for me. Listen, I love the visuals. I like the design concept for the map. It is just too large of a map for my liking, too open. It's very heavy when it comes to marksman and sniper rifles being used, The last section of the map lacks appropriate cover to take point, encouraging defense to just stay back and snipe. And I just really don't enjoy the flow too much. Now, when I play zone control on it, there are some moments where I'm like, hey, I am enjoying this. But for the most part, it's just pretty bland, and I don't really find too much enjoyment. And the last map on the list is going to be Zoo. It's going to be C tier for me. Honestly, I'm just not a big fan of zone control or escort, these linear-based maps. But it's a passable map. Not really in love. I'm pretty indifferent. I'm super indifferent to this map. I will say the second section aquarium of the map has horrible choke points that make it extremely difficult to get through with a good team. And it's just overall, I'm just not a fan of these types of maps, okay? But I do play it when it pops up and I have to play escort and Midway's not there. I really hope they do improve on the escort maps in my opinion. All right, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Let everybody know that Proxy is on the XDEFIANT grind. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have an absolutely blessed day. See you next time.
Good win. The people will remember that one.